Everyone thinks a wireless Android Auto dongle is just a cable replacement, but here is the thing, most of them promise convenience and deliver headaches. The contrarian truth? AAWireless Lite looks like the budget pick, yet in my testing it did the one thing that actually matters better than pricier options. It just connected every day without drama. That surprised me because Lite usually means stripped down, glitchy, or slow. I stress tested it across daily commutes, weekend errands, and a long highway run, and what I discovered changed how I look at these adapters. Quick note. I put in 2 weeks of testing, 3 vehicles, 5 phones, and a stopwatch. Let's get into it. Before we dive into what I discovered, if you are already convinced and want the best current price, there is a link below. But stick around because what I found about speed, stability, and what Lite leaves out might save you from a return. Look, here is the setup. I am the person who hates fishing for a USB cable every time I hop in the car. Short trips, coffee runs, kid drop-offs, the cable dance gets old fast. I tried a bunch of wireless adapters over the last couple of years. Some were fast but flaky. Others were stable but slow to start, so I would be halfway down the block before maps even loaded. One unit constantly dropped calls when my wife called in, so when I saw AAWireless Lite, I was skeptical. I loved the original AAWireless for its deep settings, but I wondered, if you remove the advanced tweaks and keep only the basics, do you lose the magic? Or do you get the clean, dependable core experience most people actually need? I broke testing into real-world scenarios. First, cold start commute, car off overnight. I plugged the AAWireless Lite into the factory USB port, paired once in the companion app, and timed every ignition. Average from key turn to Android Auto home screen, 16 to 22 seconds across my test cars, with my Pixel connecting fastest and a mid-range Samsung a hair slower. That is on par with the best I have tested, and in 2 cases faster than wired plus fumbling the cable. But then, on day 3, after a phone update, it took 35 seconds. I cleared the phone's Bluetooth cache and it snapped back to normal the next drive. Second, daily grind, music streaming, maps live traffic, WhatsApp voice messages. Track skip latency stayed around a quarter second. Assistant button on the steering wheel responded in under a second, even while navigation prompts were talking. Calls sounded clean with no echo reported by the other side, but then I forced a tricky scenario. Launching Spotify, Waze, and a podcast app simultaneously. The first 4 seconds felt a bit sluggish, then it settled. No dropouts over 6 30-minute commutes. Third, stop-and-go errand day. This is where some adapters stumble. Ignition cycles, I did 7 short hops, never unplugging the dongle. The Lite reconnected every time within 10-15 seconds of the head unit waking up, but then I tried the worst case. Started the car, put it in reverse immediately, camera came up, then shifted to drive. Some adapters crash here. The Lite held the connection and resumed Android Auto the moment the camera feed closed. One time, in a 2018 head unit, I got a black screen. Unplugging and replugging the dongle fixed it, and it never recurred. Fourth, heat and interference. I parked the car in the sun, cabin at baking temps. The dongle got warm to the touch, but there were no dropouts on a 40-minute drive afterward. Wi-Fi stayed locked on 5 GHz. I also ran a portable hotspot nearby to simulate congestion. No observable impact, though your mileage can vary if your phone struggles with 5 GHz tethering plus data at the same time. Fifth, compatibility checks. 3 vehicles with wired Android Auto. 1 older USB-A head unit, 1 newer USB-C, and 1 aftermarket unit. The Lite worked on all 3. On the oldest unit, I toggled a basic setting in the app to ensure 5 GHz preferred, and it was happy. Compared to Motorola MA1, startup speed felt similar, but the Lite gave me an app to update firmware and tweak a couple of basics. Compared to the original AAWireless, I noticed the Lite does not expose deep dive troubleshooting toggles. More on that in a second. Here is where it gets interesting. My biggest surprise, AAWireless Lite delivered 95% of the experience most drivers want with fewer places to get lost in settings. In 2 weeks of testing and countless ignition cycles, I had 1 forced unplug, no catastrophic crashes, and 0 random audio routing to the phone. I put in roughly 20 hours of drive time and repeated setups across multiple phones. Pixel, Samsung, OnePlus. The revelation is this: if your car already plays nicely with wired Android Auto and your phone supports wireless AA, the Lite nails the fundamentals: fast connection, stable link, responsive controls. The compromises: no CarPlay support, obviously, this is Android only. And compared to the full AA wireless, the Lite trims advanced features. You do not get the laundry list of experimental modes and niche tweaks seasoned tinkerers love for oddball head units. If your setup is finicky and you live for DPI overrides and protocol tweaks, the non-Lite version is the safer bet. Versus alternatives like MA1, the Lite matches real-world performance but adds an app for updates and basic control. Too good to be true, I kept waiting for a showstopper: heat shutdown, call echo, random Wi-Fi drops. It never happened. The only real gotcha is the obvious one: it will not turn a non-Android Auto car into a smart unit. Your head unit must already support wired Android Auto. Now that you know the Lite hits the core experience without the clutter, this is one of those get it before prices shift situations. I keep the best current deal linked below, and if you need the full advanced features, I will link that version too so you can pick the right one for your setup. Bottom line: AAWireless Lite is a yes for most people who simply want to get in, start the car, and have Android Auto appear without fishing for a cable. If you drive multiple short trips a day, value quick reconnection, and do not want to fiddle with settings, this is the sweet spot. If you have a picky head unit, love to tweak, or need the most advanced troubleshooting tools, grab the full AA wireless instead. Not for iPhone users or cars without wired Android Auto. For everyone else, this is the rare Lite that does not feel cheap. Cut the cord, keep the reliability, that is the real win.